Hey y'all, happy Saturday. This is my review for the Traitors, Season 3, Episode 8, titled The Frustration, Confusion, and Chaos of This Show. How we feeling? Because I mean, watching this as well as Drag Race, like back to back, I was just like, I need an edible. But anywho, uh, I might be on the panel this week. I don't know yet. Oh my God, is it really snowing? It just started snowing, y'all. Oh boy. Anyway, living in New York. So we left off on two traitors left on this show and them deciding on which faithful to murder face to face. And it's out of Tom, Chriselle, Dolores, Gabby, and Dylan. And just when they tell us, like, who's gonna turn and see Alan and who's gonna turn and see the traitors, of course they fast forward to the next day. It's morning time. Look, I'm over this snow too. I'm getting depressed, but I'm telling y'all, when you live in New York, January and February is the testament of your fortitude. Let me just tell you that. And I got to go out in this late in the night for a friend's birthday. That's why I have a fresh cut. I only get my haircut when there's special occasions because I usually stay inside or you'll see me bartending. Anywho, so of course they fast forward to the next day. It's morning time. They don't want to show us who got murdered. At this point of the episode, I guess that it was either going to be Chriselle or Dolores, just because they're stupid. They're stupid. But yeah, so at breakfast, we hear the most from Sam, Britney Spears' ex, than we've ever had, ever. So now we know he's there now, at least. And the more I hear him talk, the more I know he saw Britney Spears as a meal ticket. Definitely. Because I want to know, how did they meet? Because he's definitely given rent boy energy. How can I say this? Like just for like his services were for hire. Like, yes, he's good looking, but it just seemed like he was giving more of a service to Britney. And look, if I had that much money, why date? Why date? Let me just get a fine face in here and you just be quiet. And that's what he's been doing. He's been quiet the entire time until he didn't have to be. But anywho, so the people up for elimination start to walk in one by one. Tom is still in this competition. Of course he is. Of course he is. It's going to be a testament to white privilege if he wins. Definitely. Because I just don't understand. Like, the traitors don't like him or the faithfuls. But, I will give it to Sam. He was on to something. Like, it was really smart. I didn't even think of this. He said if any of the people that were up for murder didn't see what Alan was wearing, then that means they're a traitor. And that made so much sense to me. I was like, why couldn't they just get it from there? I bet everybody in production that was watching, they were just like, oh my God, we didn't even think of that. Like, how did they not even, like, the clue was right there. Right there. So then Carolyn, Kim Zolciak on acid comes in just looking crazy per usual. Like she just got out of, a dryer, like just tumbling, like just waltz in, and they're asking her, oh, so tell us your experience while you were up for elimination. And, of course she's lying because she didn't see him. So then she's asked, what was Alan wearing? And y'all, I thought she was going to short circuit. I really thought she was going to short circuit. Like, she's like, I'm not sure if it was editing, but I'm just like, editing couldn't do all that. Editing could not do all of those facial like, her jaw would be right here. And no one would find this, like, peculiar at all. So then she starts giving a broad answer because she was forced to think on her feet. Tom helps her. And the other faithfuls are like, you fucking idiot. Like, you idiot. Like, the traitors were at least smart to keep Tom in this house. Because imagine if Tom wasn't there. I still don't understand from this whole like exchange why they didn't immediately like just harp on that. So how come all the other faithfuls who saw Alan and are saved know what he was wearing exactly, and you can't tell us nothing? No one stood on that. I need to lubricate. Give me 1 second. When was the last time y'all saw brisk tea? This is a hood favorite. Next to Nest tea, you know what, the snowman? Throwback. Now all I do is usually Gold Peak, but this is more of a cheaper option. And since they didn't give me no type of like brand deal or whatever, F them. I'm gonna be drinking all types of other sweet tea. You had no clue that he was Persian. Huh. He does have one of those, what are they? The previous episode, I was so proud of Sam and Tom. The episode, child. Watching from the floor of Barnes and Nobles as my son browses manga. Oh, manga. To be a kid again. Sam almost broke the show. Exactly. Like somebody in production had to like time out or pause filming or something like that. Because I don't understand how that didn't sit in the back of people's heads. Like at that point. Let's see. Gabby pissed me off in that moment. Look. Anywho, next up, Dolores walks in. I'm a little shocked because they hate housewives on here. And basically, Dolores is just coasting at this point. Like, I think the only way they're going to cut Dolores is if, like, the traitors do it. Like, she might make it to the end. Like, I probably think it's going to be Dolores, Sam, and Tom. Watch. But yes. So then we finally get the playback of who was eliminated, and I was right. Chriselle. I thought Dylan would have been the smarter option, but again, dumb. So they tell Chriselle face to face that she would have never been banished, which is true, probably. Like, I don't think anyone would ever think that she was a traitor because she was too stupid. Ironically, how she used to come for Tom, they were like the male and female versions of each other, almost. Chriselle, like everyone else that was banished, is just shocked that it was Carolyn behind it, because I would be too. Like, she just doesn't seem like she has the mental capacity in order to be a traitor, but it's actually working. But again, her being on Traitors, I mean, one of the traitors, doesn't mean that, like, look, they are operating in a chaotic fashion. So yeah, afterward, we have the usual pointing of fingers, break after before the game of the episode. So now we get to the game, and they're divided into teams. The team going with Alan has a chance to get the shield. So the object of this game is with dolls that's playing nursery rhymes backwards. The team in the castle, they have to hear from the other team I guess the gibberish that the doll is saying, and then the team in the castle, they hear this and then they repeat it into a machine that plays it backwards so they can guess the nursery rhyme. So they actually get several right and win some money. I was shocked by that. And then Sierra wins the shield. And immediately when I thought that, I was like, they might vote her off for her to even, before she can even use the shield, which is really unfortunate. Her name is still number one on people's mouths. Like, they just cannot get over the whole like coffin thing. Like, I think that might have been the smartest thing the Traitors have done, because they just keep thinking, well, a traitor had to be in the coffin. Traitor had to be in the coffin. Frustrating. Frustrating. So let me see. Is the game over in my notes? Yeah. So also a lot of people are paying attention to the alliance between Brittany and Danielle. Apparently, they were both on Big Brother. I'm not really familiar with Big Brother unless it's Celebrity Big Brother. Just like with this, like if it was just normal people, I don't think I would have the same interests, you know? So Carolyn, we see that she wants Brittany gone because that means that Danielle can't really have someone on her side. So then Sam thinks it's Sierra from Jump. And I just think Sierra needs to do something to explain to these dumbasses that she's not a traitor. Like, I think what she should have done was, y'all, I have a shield. Just letting you know, like, I wouldn't have wanted a shield so bad if I was afraid of getting banished. Like, I just don't know what she could have told them. It was just getting so agonized. Like, like I understand her frustration. It probably would have made me want to cry too, because it probably would have made me want to fight somebody. Because you're telling me I'm something when I know that I'm not. So now we are at the round table. Boy, it was a doozy. Sierra starts and makes a good case about the coffin, in my opinion. But then Ivar says, well, they're believing that the remaining traitors are girls. Why? Why? I just didn't get that. So just because two men were taken out, like, it just has to be two more women. Now, they're right. They're right. But just, it goes more to say, how did you get to that conclusion? That's what I think. So then Tom jumps in. And let me say, again, they were right. Like, the last two traitors are women. But Lord, did he put his foot in his mouth. He said, generally and historically speaking, women are better cheaters. Like, all the women at the table just erupt. And also, I didn't like how he was saying, like, girls. There's no girls at the table. There are women at the table. I don't like that at first. So then I'm just like, when I heard that, I'm just like, shut your fucking mouth, you dipshit. Like, he's just the epitome of just a tool that just gets by in life. Like he's not even attractive, but he just gets by because he has this bro energy. Oh, just because a person is gay does not mean that they're not a misogynist. Like, there are a whole lot of misogyny in the gay community. I mean, that's why nobody want to date anybody femme, or like usually femme guys are on the outskirts. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Because you'll have so many people well, let me just tell you something straight. Like, between like with top and bottoming, the reason why it's such an insult to be called a bottom sometimes is because it's a submissive position, and then submissive meaning they attribute that to feminine. And at the end of the day, it's just so weird how misogyny just rears its ugly head in the places where you don't think they would be there. And then, let's not even talk about like the trans hate in the gay community as well. Cause like, look, it's different. But I feel like, gays in the chat, y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you. I would have really appreciated if just one or two people per review can just be like, you know what? I like this guy. I think he's funny. He's easy on the eyes too. Let me subscribe to him. Anywho, yeah, like that moment really pissed me off because I told y'all, and didn't I tell y'all in the beginning the sexism was high in the beginning of the season? Like, they should all just vote him out on principle. Principle. Look, I just want, God, I want him to get off this show. Like, I don't even care if he's not a traitor. Vote his ass off. So, Sierra, I think she was doing a good job, and she is cursing as much as I would at the table because you dumb fucks cannot see that I am a faithful. Just trust me this one time. But then, you know, she's aiming at Brittany like the traitors are literally in front of y'all's faces. And then we're just going to ignore what happened during breakfast. Like, so, Carolyn, how come the people that were saved, like Dylan, he knows what Alan was wearing. Dolores knows what Alan was wearing. Gabby knows what Alan was wearing. How come you can't? How come you can't? That's all they had to say at the table. Explain to me. Yeah, I felt really bad for Sierra. So then, let's see. Looking where I am in my notes, y'all. So at this point, when I was watching the episode, I was like, a faithful is definitely going home this time. And it looks like it's Sierra immediately. The voting begins, and it is basically unanimous. I guess it would throw me for a loop how everyone is just like marking me with the scarlet letter, and I didn't do shit. Like, that would really make me angry. Like, it might be hard to see it just as a game when you're actually in it, so I can understand that. But yes, when they find out that she's a faithful, they all look stupid again and again and again. So just looking, you know, what's going on in the conversations after this banishment, I think that it would be imperative to get rid of another guy because at least you have the numbers. Why would you vote out another woman then? What, just to throw them off your tracks? That doesn't make any sense. Like, pick apart the men, like get them off the show. You're going to give them the majority, and they're just going to start voting off woman by woman by woman. I didn't get that. And you know, it didn't surprise me at all because, you know, Danielle's been a traitor since the beginning. She's the one, remember, they've been like, the traitors have been voting off women and people of color the entire time. So, like, I would think after, like, the only people that were banished from the round table were like other people, but the women kept getting murdered. If y'all noticed that. I probably got ahead of my notes, but I just wanted to point that out to y'all. Like, it does not make sense to get rid of another girl on the show. Like, get rid of Sam or Dylan or Ivor. Those are the three names you need to get rid of because now they all think that a woman is a traitor. I mean, they're right, but now they're just going to be voting off women every banishment if they have the numbers. It just didn't make sense to me. The only time Dolores didn't throw away a vote, she voted against the black. My vote wouldn't save you anyway. That did make me angry a little bit, but I don't know. It's so funny how much I love Dolores that this show made me like her less. The irony. The joke is they all comment that Danielle does the most with the crying and the shaking, yet they don't call her out as much as they should. Her shaking during that last scene in the library. They should vote off all the men for sure. They're all misogynistic. LOL, there was a legendary Survivor season where all the men were eliminated. It was Parvati and Siri's season. It should have been that way. But I feel like Danielle is the reason they keep voting off women. And it's crazy. Like, that's the person who would benefit in The Handmaid's Tale is Danielle. She'll probably be the one over the women. Anyway, I just went off track there. So let's see. So it's deliberation time. It's the two traitors. You have them like I have in my thumbnail, how they're going back and forth. They are interrupted by Alan. He said, y'all have choices now. Murder a faithful or recruit another traitor. And of course, they don't agree. Now, I would agree with Crazy Kim Zolciak because it's just like we will have the numbers if we vote out another guy. Why would we get another traitor and make her a girl? Like, just because a woman, I'm sorry. Why would we make another traitor a woman? Because they're going after women. What Danielle is trying to do is put up another scapegoat besides them instead of eliminating the problem. I just didn't understand that. Rob said in the after show that his strategy in the turret was to murder anyone Danielle liked. Exactly. And I feel like Carolyn sees through that as well. Oh, goodness gracious. And of course, Danielle, she wants to recruit Brittany. Carolyn is like, absolutely not. And I agree with her. They will sell her out. Danielle is lying through her teeth right now to the point Carolyn's just, even Carolyn saying, girl. Like, I laughed so hard during that. So then, they're left not making a decision, and that is where the episode ends. I really think they're going to try to recruit a traitor, and if they did, their choices are Gabby and Brittany. But they didn't say, what if you ask the traitor to be, what if you ask the faithful to be a traitor? What if they refuse? Do they get murdered immediately? Is that the case? I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense for any of the men to be traitors. Tom is chaotic. Yver, he's useless. Sam is useless. Dylan, he would rather be a faithful. He would rather be a faithful. I don't know. Maybe if he had to choose, but he would still be on the side of the guys. Because say if they made him a traitor, all he has to do is just backstab the two women that made him a traitor in the first place and get the majority vote of the women out the house while him being a traitor. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, like, I don't understand Danielle's thinking habit, which just makes her literally the worst player of all time, the worst traitor in my opinion. But yeah, you already see the sexism going on. And yeah, we've been seeing this since day one. And I think a lot of it has to do with Danielle. I need her to be off this show. She needs to be found out. And look, again, there's no one to root for on this show. Like, I almost want to root for Carolyn. Maybe Carolyn and Dolores, maybe. But it just feels like, why would I root for Dolores when she really has just been there? She hasn't done anything strategic at all. She hasn't gotten anything right. She wastes votes. So it's like, it's just hard to root for Danielle. So at least go with somebody who is trying to play the game. And if I had a gun to my head right now, Chris, who are you rooting for? Or I'm going to pull the trigger. It would be Carolyn. Because at least no one suspects her. She is standing her ground against Danielle, and she's at least attempting to play a chaotic game. So that's my thoughts on the episode. I'm sure it's going to be some bullshit in episode 9, y'all. Sure. Gabby, if I had to choose a faithful to win, it would probably either be Gabby or Dylan. Carolyn looks like the barber from Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm really scared to even Google that, but I even know what you're talking about from the expressions. Because Carolyn, her expressions are much like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, y'all, just do a quick Google of Courage the Cowardly Dog. That is exactly the facial expressions that Carolyn does. So yeah, that is my review, y'all. What's coming up in maybe 30, 45 minutes. I'm going to be on Pop Roast. Yes, we have changed it again to Saturdays. So yeah, we're going to talk about Saving Wendy, the documentary. I just watched it. Excuse me, we're going to talk about Ashley finally getting a divorce, Phaedra not showing up to the Married to Medicine reunion. What else topics I got? Since y'all, are here with me right now. What else? Let's see, Teddy Mellencamp. And we got to talk about some other things because we've been gone since Thursday of last week before the Super Bowl. So we're going to get into a few things and hopefully I'll see y'all then. So with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode.